Good evening. Erin Patterson is tonight a convicted mass murderer after a jury found her guilty on 3 counts of murder and 1 of attempted murder in the wake of that notorious mushroom lunch. Now, for the first time, we can show you the evidence that convinced those jurors, from damning CCTV to a desperate 000 call. We have a team of reporters standing by with live coverage as Erin Patterson begins her life behind bars.
Australia's most infamous home cook. Tonight, a convicted serial killer. Mother of 2, Erin Patterson, found guilty of murdering her in-laws Don and Gail Patterson and Gail's sister Heather, and of attempting to murder Heather's husband, Ian Wilkinson.
I'd also like to acknowledge the investigators that have worked on this investigation since July 2023 right through to today.
Her weapon of choice, death cap mushrooms, hidden inside beef Wellingtons she served at her Leongatha home in July 2023. Were you expecting your friend to be found not guilty?
I didn't have any expectations. It's the justice system and it has to be what it is.
The crying killer had long protested her innocence.
I'm devastated. I love them. And I can't believe that this has happened, and I'm so sorry that they have lost their lives.
She admitted lying to police and others, but told the jury she was being straight with them. She claimed it was all a tragic accident. She even sobbed while giving evidence and said she had no reason to murder her beloved in-laws. But the jury didn't buy it. After a marathon 11-week trial at 2:15 this afternoon, the jury forewoman stood up in court and delivered the words the nation had been waiting to hear. Guilty.
Guilty of the murder of Don and Gail Patterson. Guilty of the murder of Heather Wilkinson. Guilty of the attempted murder of Ian Wilkinson. Inside the court, no emotion from Erin Patterson. She stared straight ahead, blinking profusely, but did not say a word. Silence too from her defence team after a crushing legal loss. Anything you'd like to say about the verdict? Are you surprised by the verdict?
I've been at it for over 40 years and there's been nothing like this case. Look, this is a very serious example of murder. If you think about it, it's 3 people. She's a mass murderer. The maximum penalty is life.
From her loyal supporters outside court, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'm saddened, and it is what it is. Thank you.
The Crown case was clear that Erin Patterson served up the deadly dish with an intention to kill. She fabricated a cancer diagnosis to lure her relatives to what she described as a special meal. Her estranged husband pulled out at the last minute, a decision that likely saved his life.
I think it's very important that we remember that we've had 3 people. 3 people have died, and we've had a person that nearly died and was seriously injured as a result, and that has led to these charges.
All survivor Ian Wilkinson revealed guests had been served individual beef Wellingtons on large grey plates, while Ms Patterson ate from a smaller, lighter coloured plate. Within 12 hours, the diners fell ill. 3 would never recover. Don, Gail and Heather died of multiple organ failure. Ian Wilkinson somehow survived and spent months in recovery. Patterson went into damage control. She again lied, claiming she too got food poisoning.
This is Dr. Chris Webster calling from Leongatha Hospital, and I have a concern regarding a patient that presented here earlier but has left the building and is potentially exposed to a fatal toxin from mushroom poisoning. Yeah, so there were 5 people that ate a meal on Saturday, and 2 of them are in intensive care at Dandenong Hospital. 2 have just been transferred from Leongatha Hospital to Dandenong Hospital, and Erin presented this morning with symptoms of poisoning.
And what happened when she presented? She just got up and left?
No, there was time for the nurse to begin observations, and I was managing the other critically unwell patient, so I had a brief chat to her about where the mushrooms were obtained. And after that, while I was attending the other patients, the nurse informed me that she had discharged herself against medical advice.
Eyebrows were raised when she refused to take her young son and daughter to get checked, despite her insistence they'd eaten leftovers. When police became involved, her cover-up ramped up. As officers searched her home, she wiped a device clean. A mobile phone vanished and a dehydrator she used to dry mushrooms and other foods was dropped off at the local dump. Police uncovered computer records revealing Patterson had researched where death cap mushrooms were growing in the wild. Still, Patterson maintained her innocence. She took to the stand claiming her lies stemmed from panic. The world's media is now gathered outside the Morwell Law Courts waiting for the prosecution and the defence. This bombshell verdict, a major win for Crown Prosecutor Nanette Rogers, but a disappointing blow for Colin Mandy. Dr. Rogers not present in court to watch what will no doubt be the biggest victory of her career. Will you be appealing this? How did she feel, Colin? Earlier in the trial, locals lined up from dawn to hear Erin Patterson's side of the story.
What was it like in there?
Electric. The atmosphere was just tense and electric.
The lethal lunch, the subject of chatter across the country and beyond. Patterson has been staying here in a cell at the Morwell police station. We've been legally prevented from showing you images of her in handcuffs. Tonight, she's behind bars at Dame Phyllis Frost, where she could remain for the rest of her life. Justice served cold for Victoria's killer cook.
And Estelle Grieping was in the courtroom for today's verdict. Estelle, talk us through what happens from here.
Well, Mitch, Erin Patterson has a couple of avenues she can take, but at this point we're not sure which one she will because, of course, you saw her defence team did not want to speak to us when they exited the courtroom today. We know Erin Patterson, though, has about 28 days with her legal team to appeal these guilty verdicts if that's what she wants to do. If she does not appeal, she does have a mention in the Supreme Court, a brief court hearing in August, and after that we presume that there would be a plea hearing. That's a pre-sentence hearing where victims submit victim impact statements. So we could see people like Ian Wilkinson, Simon Patterson attending court to share their side of the story and talk about how this lethal lunch has affected them. After that, Justice Beale will have to consider and hand down a sentence. Now, I was in court today to see that verdict be handed down. One of a handful of journalists who was there. She was seated just a couple of metres away from me, really, and I was able to turn my head each time to see those guilty verdicts be handed down. You could hear a pin drop in the courtroom, even when the jury just entered to say that they'd reached a verdict. So Erin Patterson showed very little emotion. She just stared ahead. We didn't see any tears or any real big reaction when she was found guilty of 3 counts of murder and 1 of attempted murder. Mitch, I'll have to wait and see what her demeanour is like in her next court appearance. At this point, I'm not sure if that's going to be in the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal.
Estelle Grieping, thank you for that. And as we go to air, the mother of 2 is on her way from Morwell to Dame Phyllis Frost Maximum Security Prison at Ravenhall. And that's where Nick McCallum is this evening. Nick, what'll happen when she arrives?
Well, Peter, she left Morwell around 5:30, so that means she should arrive here at Ravenhall in Melbourne's outer western suburbs at around 7:30. Now, the jury wasn't told this, but we can reveal tonight she's been in custody here since November 2020 when she was charged with murder and attempted murder. And during the court proceedings, every Monday morning she was taken by prison van here to Morwell. She went to court. She then slept in a police cell alongside the court and came back on Friday afternoons back here to Ravenhall and spent the weekends in Ravenhall. Now, we can also reveal there have been reports in early 2024 that she was threatened by inmates here and had to go into a protected unit on her own. She was allowed to have full access around that unit. She wasn't allowed to leave that unit. There have also been reports that a fellow inmate accused her of food tampering. The inmate claimed she fell ill after eating a meal prepared by Erin Patterson. We know there was an investigation into it. We don't know whether any action was taken. As I say, Peter, she is due here in a bit under an hour and a half.
Nick McCallum at Ravenhall in Melbourne's West, thank you. Beyond the headlines and the drama of the trial, Erin Patterson leaves behind her a trail of sorrow and grief. Tonight, her community, family and only surviving victim are all grappling with a crime that's left a deep scar on their lives.
613 days since police arrested Erin Patterson. She arrived at court in custody, today left as a convicted killer, facing a life behind bars.
No reaction at all when they read out the charges.
Is it almost like she expected it or she was prepared for it?
I think she was prepared for it.
Her estranged husband refusing to respond to the jury's judgment that the mother of his 2 children murdered his parents, rushing away from his Korumburra home and out of the spotlight. Ian Wilkinson, the sole survivor, who for 9 weeks sat in court and stared at the woman who killed his wife and brother and sister-in-law, even taking the stand to explain what happened when murder was served as the main meal. He didn't attend the chaos at court today, warning those wanting to hear his response to stay away.
It's wild that something like this has happened, super close to home and a little bit, scary.
Police were patrolling Erin Patterson's Leongatha home after today's bombshell verdict, where she served the poison wrapped in pastry. Neighbours were nervously watching and waiting to learn if the killer cook would return.
I think we were very surprised that it came through as guilty. I think we forget that these are real people that have, lost their families.
Patterson's supporters were so confident she would be found not guilty. The day before deliberations, they put up these privacy screens, thinking the mother of 2 could and would return to normal life. Instead, she made headlines across the globe, from Asia, the US and the UK. The world now knows Erin Patterson is a mass murderer. And tonight we can show you what happened in the days after the deadly meal, when all 4 guests sat at this dining table. While her relatives were dying in hospital, she pretended to be sick, but discharged herself from the hospital against medical advice, leaving staff scrambling to find answers about what happened at that lunch. This doctor taking photos of the leftovers, one of the first clues in this callous crime, and the first time we've actually seen the meal laced with poisonous mushrooms. And this, the infamous 9-second toilet stop at a service station. A time the mother of 2 claimed she had diarrhoea, another lie the jury saw straight through.
I don't envy the jury. I think they've had an incredibly difficult task. They will be feeling that weight of whatever decision that they have reached, and they will be absolutely exhausted.
The verdict bringing 18 months of mystery in the tiny town of Korumburra to an end. Residents now knowing the 3 people who were at the heart of their community died at the hands of a woman who claimed she was a devoted daughter-in-law, but is instead a deceitful killer.
Live now to Cassie Zervos in Korumburra. And Cassie, the church community issued a statement a short time ago.
They did, Mitch, and it's been a very emotional day for everyone here at Ian Wilkinson's local church. One churchgoer told 7 News, "We don't actually hate Erin Patterson and we feel for her too." Late today, a notice was put up on a notice board and it reads, "We all greatly miss Heather, Don and Gail. Whether we were friends for a short time or for over 20 years. It's been a long journey, and we continue to lovingly support Ian and all the Wilkinson and Patterson family. As our pastor Ian has said, life can be hard, but God is faithful and he is always with us. So no doubt, Mitch, it will be a very emotional night in town as the community processes today's verdict. Mitch.
Cassie Zervos at Curramborough, thank you. The long trial shone a spotlight on the quiet Gippsland town of Morwell. It was a double-edged sword for the community, bringing with it plenty of negative attention, but also a major boost to its visitor economy.
One huge case in one tiny town. All eyes on Morwell, population 14,000.
Morwell's been famous for a lot of things before, but this one is the icing on the cake. It's crazy.
The murder trial delivered world attention.
What did prosecutors say her motive was in all of this?
To a pocket of Victoria still learning how to handle it.
You see things on television, on the news all the time, cases that are worldwide like this one in particular, and to see her in person, it makes it seem all real.
The area's been a bit of a buzz, especially once the trial started.
A buzz that created somewhat of a boom.
As much as it can be good, it has been quite good because all the accommodation, all the eateries, they're all full.
I mean, the trial's pretty horrific, but it is been really, really good.
The courtroom here is so small, they ran a ballot for media seats. Members of the public queued early.
It was madness. So, we were getting here at 5:45 in the morning because of the amount of people.
People who are now asked to come back for a different reason.
Have a look further afield. There is so much more to our city than just the courthouse.
That courthouse, home for more than 2 months, is quiet again. Morwell, ready to return to a small town known for its rose garden, not its murder trial.
We knew it was going to be big, but we didn't probably know it was going to go this long.
Just be reminded that this is, yes, it's a story, but it involves real people that have suffered some very, very traumatic experiences.
An experience for many here that won't be forgotten.
People are still talking about it. I think they all have an opinion on it.
Blake Johnson, 7 News.